Greetings and salutations, viewers. I'm StarPrincessHLC, and welcome back to Asagao Academy. When I last left off, we were out in the city with John. Malkovich, our uncle, to go shopping for a new bird to pretend to be Jacques for the play. Although, really, he could just hire somebody else or, audition someone else to play Juliet, but yeah, that would be JonTron thinking logically. So, right now, if we're at the pet shop, but he's starting to have doubts if he could do this anymore. He glanced down the street. This is a bad idea. Let's just go home. What do you say? I rolled my eyes and grabbed his hand, pulling him inside. Come on, you'll be fine. You got me with you. A seedy-looking old man glanced at us as we entered the shop, but upon seeing John's getup, he turned back to the newspaper on his lap. A questionable reaction, but welcomed nonetheless. I wasn't fond of employees hovering over my shoulder while shopping. I always felt pressured to buy something. Yeah, I know the feeling. It's like, if I need your help with something, I will ask. It's okay. You don't have to follow me around and ask me if I need anything. I'll let you know. We passed cages filled with puppies and kittens, ferrets and fish, spiders and snakes. I tried my hardest not to look at anything, partially out of fear and partially because I knew if I locked eyes with something, I'd want to take it home. And I doubt that dormitory or that school allows pets. Jacques was probably an exception because he was a robot. No, even more than that, I would take it home. I'd smuggle it into Asagao like illegal drugs and spend my days treating it like actual family. The birds were at the back of the shop, presumably so their high-pitched chirps wouldn't upset the store owner after a particularly late night. Maybe so the puppies don't eat them. Or the cats. We glanced through the cages, seeing birds of every shape and color. For such a small shop, they sure had a lot of variety. But then I spotted it.
Hey!
John, look! Wow! It's almost exactly like Jacques. That bird looks exactly like Jacques. It's the spitting image of him. John frowned, eyeing it skeptically. A green-cheeked conure. It's the right species, and it does look oddly similar. He peered closely at the bird, who was napping lazily on its branch. No, the colors are exactly the same. It's almost like Jacques was based off this bird, or vice versa. Well, he is a real bird in real life.
What?
Pardon? It's a conspiracy! Sure, John, whatever you say. Anyways, let's get him. I headed towards the store owner, but John grabbed my arm. What's wrong? John glanced away. The wheels were turning in his mind. John wasn't the hardest person to read. I don't have a cage. Or food. So I should do this. I don't know about real birds. I only know about Jacques. I should study more or something. You definitely have a cage. We helped make that birdhouse together, remember? I guess we did. Besides, I don't believe you studied a day in your life. Rude. I happen to be a very intelligent and culturally sound individual. Just the other day, I went to the symphony to hear Firebird. Okay, Mr. Culture. Stop making excuses and let's go. I approached the store owner, who glared at me. I could read his thoughts in his eyes. Stupid kid. This is why I hated talking to employees at stores. Excuse me, could I please have that green conure? He flecked his tongue around his mouth. I could see the little lump probing his cheeks. What's it to you?
What?
What? What's that bird to you? Pets? Hoof. The man snapped his newspaper back up, not even looking at me anymore. What the hell? Let me try. John approached the counter and slammed his hand down on it. The man peered around his newspaper, then jumped. Why, hello, sir. Your benevolence. How might I serve you? Well, I need that green birdie for my little lady friend, and it seems you aren't interested in giving it to her. The man twisted his hands. He glanced from me to John. I'm very sorry, sir. I simply thought... But then the bird is rightly yours. Pardon me. Rightly yours? What is he talking about? Shh. Just let it happen. He boxed up the bird that included a handful of beginner's bird items at no extra charge. What is going on here? He bowed us out of the shop. In no time, we were back in the street and on our way back. I still don't get what just happened. Yeah, I don't either. It's like, why wasn't he was refusing sale to me, but was fine with John? I'm a little confused. The Malkoviches are a long, dignified line. They're practically celebrities back in their homeland. Wait, so Malkovich is a real guy? You don't need to worry about it. Let's go home. Oh, I am worried. John patted me on the head, then started across the street. The whole affair took much longer than I anticipated. By the time we were on our way home, I was exhausted. The bird sat quietly in its box on John's lap, John peering nervously through the air slits. You think this is really going to work? What? Try as I might to stop it, I yawned. My vision was hazy and my head kept tipping towards John's shoulder. John smiled at me, his question remaining unanswered. After some time, he rolled his eyes and patted the side of my head. I snapped awake. What? If you're gonna sleep on me, just do it. It's bothering me that you haven't made up your mind. I smiled, then scooted closer to John and laid my head on his shoulder. He was so warm. That sounds adorable. I almost didn't mind that he was still in that Malkovich getup. Almost. As the train pulled into Higabana, John shifted nervously. I pulled my head off his shoulder. Yeah, what's going on? We're getting close to Asagao and I just realized something. PBG was supposed to be meeting up with Gerard tonight in our room. What if he's still there? I'm not going to be able to take this Jacques in like this. They'll know something's up. Oh, that's no problem. We could keep him in my dorm room. Mai's got a game tonight in another town. It was supposed to go on late. Really? You sure, though? I know you're afraid of birds. I mean, it's only until Gerard leaves, right? What could be the harm in it? And then we wake up and something goes terribly wrong. The trip across campus was perilous. It took all our collective ninja skills not to be caught by teachers or other students. Was it like Krog from The Emperor's New Groove where we were doing our own theme music as we were sneaking around? Utilizing bushes, postal boxes, trees, and the occasional holding a soccer ball you found on the ground in front of your face trick, we made it to Primrose House. Does that actually work? Does that really work? So is it like I take this pillow and it's like, where did Star go? Oh my god! I don't know where she went! Oh, there she is. Is that how it goes? I don't think that works. Just before we entered, I turned to him. Can't you at least take off that disguise now? I think it'll cause even more suspicion the way you are.
No.
No, it won't. Nobody can tell it's me. Well, originally I couldn't. Yeah, but I wasn't talking about suspicion for you. With a sigh, I pulled open the door. Malkovich's mind was made up. There was nothing I could do. Won't they notice, though? I'm sure that PBG and Gerard will notice the Malkovich getup. Come on. I mean, PBG already kind of suspected it when we first left to go see John. And it's like, I think people know. We climbed the stairs with halting steps. I peered around every corner to ensure nobody was around. New Jacques was surprisingly well behaved considering the amount of travel and jumping to and fro we were putting him through. Either he was still asleep or he was so chill as to be confused with the dead. Let's hope he didn't die in the box. I winced as the thought occurred to me. Too soon, Hana. Too soon. Not soon enough. We climbed to the 3rd floor and sprinted to my door. I took out my keys as fast as I could, trying to unlock the door. Hana! Kakusu was suddenly next to me, having made almost no sound in her approach. As I fit the key into the lock and turned it, Kakusa made a high-pitched whine. Mai texted me. She told me to tell you to save her a pork bun from dinner. I now see that this is no longer possible. I nodded slowly. Kakusu stared at me, evidently expecting some kind of response. Thank you? She nodded, eyes flashing. Message delivered. With that, Kakusu disappeared into her own room. Is she a robot or something? That was weird. She an android? Who is that girl?
Well,
Let's just say Jacques isn't the only robot in town. Hello? This wasn't established previously? What? We have an android in our midst? Are you kidding me? Call the Z-Warriors! We have a problem! Damn, man, that's cold. You can't just go calling people robots. Oh, never mind. This wasn't... Is this established in another storyline? Because this doesn't make any sense to me. You just throw in Robot Girl and you just run off? What? I shoved the door open and ushered John inside. John set the box and bag of products down with a sigh. It's not heavy, but damn, was it uncomfortable. Thanks for carrying everything. Hey, it's my stuff. My bird, right? My problems. John shrugged, rolling his shoulders. I eyed the box warily. Knew Jacques still hadn't made a peep. Was he really okay? I'm going to head back and check whether Gerard's around. I'll come back as soon as the coast is clear. John followed my eyes to the box. Are you sure you'll be okay?
Yeah.
Of course, I can handle a little old bird, and you'll be back before I even know it. Okay, if you're sure. John was clearly uncomfortable with this, but I felt I could handle myself. And then the bird flies out the window and gets hit by a speeding train, and now we're really screwed. I shoot him out the door just before it closed. I stuck my head into the hallway. And please change your clothes. John gave me a thumbs up. Satisfied, I went back to my room. It was still and silent, as if I were totally alone. My uniform was still laying out on my bed. My homework spread across my desk. Everything was normal. Except that there was another living being in the room with me. The silence was really starting to throw me off. I tried to peer through one of the box's breathing holes, but I couldn't see anything. Was it even in there? If all birds were this calm, then maybe I was wrong to be so afraid of them all these years. It wasn't like I had a rational reasoning for hating them. They were just so small and fast and pointy. So much potential for destruction in one tiny flying package. I changed in my pajamas, then sat on my bed and looked around my room. Well, now what? Well, I should practice. But I almost want to check out Mr. Birdie. Let's check Mr. Birdie. Might as well make sure the bird didn't die. I didn't want to put John through a second bout of mourning, although I could tell him that the weird store owner was a dick and we should have checked the box before we left. I pulled my chair up to the desk, unsure of what really to do. I didn't want to open the box, but maybe that was a good idea. It had been there for so long, surely it was tired and lonely and scared, but I wouldn't be able to control it either. Hesitantly, I poked the box. No reaction. I poked it again. Nothing. Was it really dead? I poked the box hard enough to send it scooting across the desk and... Uh-oh. The bird started screaming, bouncing into the box's walls and moving it to and fro across my desk. Pencils and books clattered to the floor. The box flew across my desk as if possessed. It drew close to the edge of the desk, almost falling off.
No.
It was going to fall off. Not knowing what to do, I reached over and pulled open the lid. Oh, now you did it. The bird flew out of the box and around the room, a complete blur. It rammed into a wall, knocking down my shelf, and then into my bed, and then into a desk. Objects fell across the room as if we were having an earthquake. Then talons flew at my face. I covered my face with my arms, and then it was on me, beating against my skin and tearing through my hair. Screaming, I crawled to the door, trying to shake the bird out of my hair. Oh my god! It's Birdemic all over again! Except this bird is slightly real. A heavy thud came from my door, and then I heard him. Hannah, what's going on? John! I reached up and pulled the door open. John ran into the room, eyes wide. Oh no! He glanced at me on the floor, then grit his teeth. I didn't see how he did it. I know it took some skill and effort, judging by his grunts and the way he hopped around the room. Eventually, after several minutes, the clattering stopped. The screeching became muffled. When I opened my eyes, the bird was back in the box. And the room was a mess. Papers littered the floor. Books, action figures, pencils, clothes. Everything was flung here and there across the room, and there were fluffs of cotton lining the corners. It took me a few seconds to realize where the cotton came from. When I did, I froze. John turned to me, panting. Why the hell did you let it out of its box? Mr. Bunny. Mr. Bunny lay on the floor, ripped to absolute shreds. If I hadn't had him for so long, I never would have been able to guess the tattered pile of cloth was him. The only recognizable part that remained of was a patch containing a single button eye. I picked it up, hands trembling. Tears slid down my face. I bit the inside of my cheek, taking deep breaths, trying very hard to stop crying. It was my own fault, after all, and And it was only a bunny. It was only a bunny. It was only... I sobbed into the tattered piece of cloth. John's eyes widened and he flailed uncomfortably. Aw, man. Stop crying! Stop at that! Please! Stop that, please! John, do you mind leaving me alone for a bit? Oh dear.
No.
No, but I should help you clean up. This is partially my fault after all. No, I would prefer... I swallowed heavily, trying to stop my voice from wobbling. Please go. John hesitated a few moments, his hand reaching towards me, then he nodded. It'll be good to get this thing out of here. He grabbed the box and the rest of the supplies, shuffling carefully to the door. As he passed, I flinched. He hesitated, looking at me for just a moment. Then he left. With John gone, I started sobbing almost uncontrollably. Aw. My rabbit was gone. He was gone. After all this time, he was gone. I crawled into bed, holding the tattered eye to my chest. Normally when I was this upset, I would go to Mr. Bunny for comfort. In fact, he was my only friend for the past year. Now, though... Now I was alone, and he was gone. Huh. I'm not sure I like that. Well, I could always go back and check if there's something else. Hana? Hana, wake up! I was jolted awake by Mai, who stood in her volleyball uniform, duffel bag at her side, and fury on her face.
What the hell?
What the hell is this? I blinked rapidly, the rest of the room coming into rough focus. The mess on the floor, the cotton everywhere. Mai's things spread all over. Oops, we were too depressed to clean everything up. Oh? Oh? Is that all you have to say? I hung my head, trying to keep tears from streaming down my face yet again. My eyes were raw enough as it was. For the first time since entering the room, Mai seemed to realize something was wrong. Wait, are you okay, Hana? She sat down on the edge of my bed, setting her bag between her feet. I tried to speak, but my throat was shut tight. I swallowed several times to no avail. Finally, Mai stretched an arm out and took my hand in hers. Okay, tell me what happened. You have to. Why have you been hiding? It's clear something is up, and I'm super worried about you. I looked at my hand and Mai's. Then the torn rabbit piece crumpled next to my pillow. I told John I wouldn't tell anyone, I promised, but now Mai was involved. Her things destroyed and her roommate a mess. She deserved some kind of explanation, but I wasn't sure John would ever forgive me if I betrayed his trust. Alright. I think now I have to say that I have to tell her the truth now. Well, I took a deep breath, hands shaking. Jacques died, so we had to get another bird to replace him, and that bird destroyed our room because birds are the worst thing that ever crossed the face of this earth. Please don't tell anybody.
What?
Jacques is dead? Shh! Oh my god, shut up! Already regretting telling her, I covered her mouth with both of my hands. Then something slimy rubbed against my palm. Did she lick my hand? God, not again.
It's not my fault.
You should have learned your lesson the first time. Still, that's intense. No wonder John's been so weird lately. Poor guy. Well, weirder. Did you see the getup he had on earlier? More than I ever wanted to. Mai heaved a heavy sigh, surveying the damage of our room. Well, I'm glad you told me. At least everything makes sense. She patted me on the shoulder. Between the two of us, we'll have this mess cleaned up in no time, right? She bowed to her feet, completely restored from her intense anger. Yeah, we'll totally kick this mess's ass. Mai might be quick to jump to conclusions, but she was just as quick to move on from them. A small smile crossed my lips. Right, let's get to work. You gotta tell her to keep it a secret. I had forgotten. I might not have Mr. Bunny anymore, but I had friends now. It wasn't enough to ease the pain of the loss, but it was enough to give me the strength to get out of bed. Okay. I'm still not really sure I get it. It was Saturday afternoon, and Mai and I were sat in the library, bent over our math notebooks. I mean, it's a logical equation. When I plug in the numbers, I don't seem to get the same answer as you. What am I doing wrong? Satch chuckled and pointed between my equation and the one in the book. You forgot to copy down these parentheses, so you're doing it out of order. Aw, jeez. You know, it's kind of funny, Hana. You're a natural for strategies and seeing patterns in things, which you would think would make you good at math, but it's not that I'm bad at it. I get grades in it. I get great grades in it. It's just that, I mean, if I know what the answer is, why do I have to go to all the stupid effort to show my work, and then the results don't match what I thought? She's got a point there. It's like, why do I have to constantly show this? Why can't I just say the answer? I don't know. Math gets complicated after a while. I bit my lip, not liking how ditzy I felt, but Mai whistled. You really are a genius. I glanced at Satch's notebook, on which he was scrolling out a complicated algorithm from some kind of machine he was working on. I don't think I'm the genius. Satch looked up and grinned. You two are ridiculous. You'll be right up where I am next year, so don't even act like I'm special or something. I blushed, but Mai rolled her eyes. The day I reach your level is the day Jared actually decides to date me. I winced at her put-down, but Mai seemed completely okay with what she just said. She had finally come to terms with the fact that Jared seemed frankly uncomfortable around her. I watched her carefully. Maybe this was exactly what she needed, though. Now she could get to know the actual Jared instead of the Jared she built up in her head. Yep, celebrity idol worship, never a good thing. Although the actual Jared seemed surprisingly fishy to me. Oh, John, hey man, what brings you here? I jumped. John appeared behind me looking distinctly uncomfortable. Hands in his pockets, he gestured towards the door.
Hey.
I was hoping I could speak to you, hon. I was looking all over for you. Oh, sorry, yeah, sure. I nodded to Mai and Satch and followed John out of the library. We stepped out into the slightly chilly air. I glanced at the clouds above us, silver ridges lining their edges. Looks like rain. I guess so. John nodded. I wrapped my arms around my body, getting a bit cold. I didn't have the comfortable jacket John did. So, I just wanted to apologize for what happened yesterday. I should have stayed with you or taken the Jacques to my room. I know how you are with birds, so I should have been more careful. No, I'm sorry. I just had this crazy outburst and you had no idea what was going on. And I'm the one who said I could handle it, and I'm the one who let him out of the box. John chuckled. If you ask me, we're both at fault. John beamed as if somehow both of us being at fault exonerated us. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to hear. But there was no reason it couldn't work like that, so why not? Anyways, I wanted to make it up to you, so... How's about we go on a date tomorrow? You know, if you wanna, and if you have time. I don't want to put pressure on you or anything. I beamed, clapping my hands together.
Yeah.
Of course I do, I'd love to. Great, that's awesome. The sun broke through the clouds above us, warming my face. I smiled, stretching my arms out to absorb the sudden light. What a great day. Amazing how quickly the rain just went gone. So about the new Jacques, I'm getting a little nervous. He's a really antsy bird. Way more than I anticipated. He's just not as predictable as Jacques was. And now we were on new Jacques. John was apparently completely unable to read moods. I had to tape over the entrance to his birdhouse because he kept trying to eat all of PBG's nachos. I didn't even know birds could eat nachos. They probably couldn't. Well, Jacques was a robot, so... Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time training him, but there's only 3 weeks until the play, and the tournament, and I need to practice for that too. I'm starting to get a little worried. Is what I'm saying? It doesn't help that I procrastinate the heck out of these kind of things. The more important, the worse it gets. Would it help if I trained him too? That way you could have time off to do homework or practice or whatever. John glanced at me in surprise and chuckled. After everything that happened yesterday, you'd still offer to take over for me? I mean, if it's for you, I don't see the problem. Maybe if we work together, we'll even be able to teach him the old Jacques' robot voice. Oh man, that's a huge weight off my chest. Thank you so much, Hana. John stepped forward as if to hug me, then stopped. Anyways, I gotta head back. So, scene paintings happening today. I'm supposed to supervise. Last year they painted boobs and penises all over the set, so... Right, go ahead.
See you later.
I'll come back. I'll come pick you up tomorrow, so be ready. Yay, we got our first real date and not just errands. John jogged off towards the theater. I cupped my hands around my mouth. And don't you dare dress like Malkovich. John waved at me. Whether that meant he wasn't going to, though, I didn't know. With joy bouncing in my stomach like a squirrel on too much caffeine, I darted back to the library, intent on finishing my homework before the next day. Woohoo! That was kind of sweet. But I guess we'll get to the actual date next time. But for now, this is StarPrincessHLC saying thank you very much for watching, and have a fond farewell.